Okay. All right. Value of money. All right, so this is 10.2. So yesterday we went over receivables. The day before that, we went over cash. So time value of money kind of goes along the lines with chapter 6 and I'm sorry, not chapter 6. What am I talking about? Chapter 9, because it does deal with cash, okay? So time value of money is this, okay? Well, obviously, we know that our dollar does not always stay a dollar, okay? And with time, it either increases or it decreases in value due to inflation, recession, all those factors come into play, and it makes the dollar either stretch or it makes it shrink, okay? So, for example, today, I'm pretty sure that dollar is super inflated because of the whole $1 trillion, things that the president had assigned in order to, be able to pay everybody for unemployment during these hard times. So as of right now, we are in a very, very bad recession. The dollar has lost its value probably 10 times right now. So, just understanding that in time the dollar is not the same value as it was 10 years ago, right? 20 years ago gas was only 95 cents. Right now, today, gas is now almost, well, in the recession, it's right now, it's almost 3.85 right now. So it's tripled. It's 300% of what it was before. Okay, so that is a perfect example of why we need to also calculate our time, our money, because if we deposit $1 today in a bank that is supposed to accrue interest, right? 20 years down the line, we take that money out and that dollar is going to multiply, correct? So that's the assumption, right? So if we put $1 in today, that means it should multiply in 20 years. Maybe let's say it increases $1 a day. So that means today I put in $1, 20 years later it should be worth $20 now. Now, let's take it back in retrospective against time. That $1 could probably buy you something from the dollar store, right? 20 years from now, if that dollar only increased to $20, 20 years from now, we're not going to use money anymore. You know what I mean? It's going to be worth nothing, right? That $20 has not brought you any value, and it's worth almost nothing. You can't buy anything with $20. Everything that you bought at the dollar store, it's probably $4 now instead of $1. Okay? So that is exactly what we need to calculate for, especially when we're making projections or when we're planning for the future, especially when we're investing in things. This is what we're going to be talking about when we need to calculate the value of money. Okay, so again, what happens to money over the years? It changes its value. Okay, and of course, yes, $1 is not the same value as it was 10 years ago. Okay, so the whole thing about us understanding about time value of money is we're going to be looking at the interest perspective, okay? But I also want to show you something that's also more applicable to your life, is the typical one, a credit card, okay? So what I mean about this is, okay, so for a simple interest, right, it's pretty straightforward. There are two types of interest that we're going to be looking into. And our main goal for this class is to understand interest. So simple interest, right, there are a few components that you need to understand. Okay, you need to have a principal. The principal is going to be considered your original investment, right? The amount that you originally placed it, or how much it cost you originally to begin with. Okay, then we're going to be introducing to an interest rate. Now, an interest rate is going to be an annual rate. That means in 1 year you're going to be charged this much percentage for interest, okay? And then lastly, we're going to be dealing with time, and time is usually given in terms of years, okay? But in this class, we get to learn that time could be every day, it could be every week, it could be 6 months, 9 months, it doesn't matter as long as it's a given time, but it's usually generally given in years, okay? Now, what simple interest does is it actually only calculates interest one time. Okay? So again, simple interest is you're only going to be calculating interest one time. All right? And I'll talk about that when we move into the problem. The next concept I want you to talk about is going to be compound interest. So the difference between compound and simple interest is compound interest, you actually get to multiply the rate by the amount of times interest is going to be hit. Okay? So for example, a credit card, right? That you get hit by interest every single month, right? You get charged interest every single month. Okay? So that means when you're doing compound, you're constantly being recalculated for interest, and it depends on what the scenario is. If it asks you quarterly, then you're gonna get hit with interest every 3 months. If it's annually, every year. Okay? So make sure that you read the scenario carefully so you understand how many times it's going to be calculated interest, okay? So, simple is only one time. Compound is you're going to be hit with interest multiple times, okay? And this one, it's going to be the same components, except you have one additional thing, and that is the number of times you're being compounded for. So again, your principal is going to be your original rate or your original investment. Your interest rate is going to be a rate, which is normally an annual rate. So it's calculated for every year. And then lastly, time is going to be measured in years. Okay? So fine line is 1. Is you're being only charged interest one time. The other one is number 2, which is you're being charged multiple times. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the true difference when we're looking into each interest. So we're going to start off with simple interest because it's the easiest. So simple interest, again, the formula you will see is interest is equal to principal times rate times time. Simple enough. All you need to do is multiply those 3 numbers together and you're going to get your interest. And to calculate your future value, you're going to take your original investment, which is your principal, and you're going to add the interest together and you're going to get your future value. Okay? So again, equations is going to be I equals P times R times T. And then FV is going to equal P plus I. Okay? These formulas you can do on a regular calculator. So this is what I'm going to primarily test you on is just this simple interest, okay? So understanding this very, very easy. You just multiply and you would get your answer, okay? So let's go ahead and do an example, okay? So example number 1, you bought a bank bond. You bought a bond from a bank that is worth $100,000. The interest rate is 6% and can be redeemed in 5 years. Okay? So, what is your principal?
1,000 or 100,000.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I thought I had it everywhere. Okay, so yes, your principal is 100,000. Your rate is in a percentage. So every time you see a percentage, you need to automatically turn it into a decimal. Okay, so it's 0.6 here. And time is already given in years, so you just need to calculate 5 years. All right, so let's go ahead and calculate that amount right now. So how do you solve for the interest?
You take the principal times the rate times the time.
Okay, so yes,
Right.
that's correct.
And you should get 30,000.
Yes, I got 30,000 because it's straightforward. Again, your interest is going to equal your principal times your rate times your time. Okay, and we're given $30,000. Now, how do
After this, it confused me.
okay? Now, the question is, how much is the bond going to be worth in 5 years? Remember, you can't redeem it until 5 years.
Hello?
Yes?
It should be.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, now I can, but you went off for a few seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so
Wouldn't that be the interest and then the principal
okay.
added together?
Yes. So what did we start? What did it originally start? What was our principal?
100,000.
Okay, and what is our interest?
30,000.
So what do we get?
130,000.
130,000 is correct. So that means the day that we bought it, 5 years from now, you're able to take it out, and it increased by $30,000. Now that's a little bit of amount of money. Okay, you only increased it by $30,000. That's only like what, $6,000 a year. But I mean, again, you're not doing anything. It's just sitting in the bank and it's accruing all this interest. So, again, so you originally started with $100,000, and now 5 years down the line, you try to redeem it, and now it's worth $130,000. Okay, so good. All right, simple enough. Okay.
Well, so far.
All right. Now let's go look into compound interest. So this is where you do need to use Excel in order to answer this question. But I went ahead and I already solved it for you for the sake of this PowerPoint. But when we move into the exercises, I'm going to show you how to use Excel. All right. So here, formulas. Okay. So the formula to calculate compound interest, right? Again, we're introduced to another component here, right? But here, if we solve for interest first, it's going to be your future value minus your principal. Okay, but what's my future value? Your future value is going to be this complicated formula right here. Okay, so future value is going to be equal to your principal times 1 plus the rate divided by the number of times compounded, and that parentheses, I don't know how to exponented, I forgot, raised,
Exponent?
exponent for the number of times compounded multiply by time. Okay, so down here, this is what the equation looks like. Okay, so I is equal to FV minus P, and FV is going to be P parentheses 1 plus R divided by N parentheses up to the N and 10 times T power. Okay, so this is why you need you either need to use Excel or an advanced calculator in order to punch this number in. Okay, and
Okay.
so let's go ahead and look in our example this time. So again, here we're looking at our example. Okay, so you still bought a bond from the bank that's worth $100,000. The interest rate is 6%. However, you are compounded quarterly. Okay, you are compounded quarterly, and it can be redeemed in 5 years. So, what's my principal?
100,000.
100,000. What's my rate?
6%.
6%. What is my number times of compounded?
Quarterly is every 3 months, right?
Yes,
It's every 3 months.
every 3 months.
4.
So how many times is there in a year? 4.
4.
Good. And what's my time?
5.
Yes, good. Good.
So 60 times?
Not 60 times. You have to be careful because we use the number times compounded twice in our formula. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve for future value. So I already gave you a hint right here. This is what you're going to do. It's going to be principal times 1 plus R over N times T, right? To the power. So I want to break that down. Okay, so if I know that my future value is going to be my $100,000 times 1 plus my 6%, divide that by 4, okay? And you're going to raise it to the 4 times 5 power, okay? So this is what you're going to be understanding when you're calculating it into your calculator or whether you're doing it via Excel. Now for Excel, you need to add extra parentheses because the way that Excel works is it reads it as it is. So if you tell it to do 1 plus R and then divide it by, so what you're going to do is you're taking 1 plus 6%, which is, so you're going to get 106, and you're going to divide that by N, which is 4. That is how Excel will read it, okay? That's why you need to separate it because we don't want 1 plus the rate. We want 1 after you've calculated the rate divided by N. So you need the 6% divided by 4, and then you add the 1. So make sure that when you're typing this into your calculator or typing it into Excel, that you need to do an extra additional parentheses, okay? And again, you would need to also include the parentheses on the N times T, all right? So right above here, in the middle, is going to be what you type in Excel. And then down here is what you would normally see. How would it look like? Okay. So once you type in that into your formula or into your Excel, you're going to get that the total future value is going to be a total of 134,685 and 50 cents. Okay. Okay.
My head hurts.
Yes. And this is going to be calculated for the entire 5 years. So in 5 years, when I go redeem my bond, it's going to be now $134,685. All right, and then how much interest? How much is my interest? How much is my interest?
You mean
6%?
what you earned?
Yes.
$685.50.
$34,685 is correct. So the formula, I put it in orange right here. In order to find out what the interest is, it's going to be your future value minus your principal. So if you take the 134,685 and you minus the original investment, you are going to get $34,685. Okay, that is
And 50
and 50 cents. Yes. Okay.
cents.
Yes, every cent, every penny counts. So that is all I actually want you to know. Okay? So those are, that is all you need to know. It's just those two formulas and making sure you know how to calculate that. Okay? So let's go ahead and dive right into example for today. So here, I think, no, that's the wrong one. So this one would be it. So chapter 10.2, time value of money, interest, okay? So let's go ahead and let's look at this. Now, this is a little more complicated, but it actually applies to your life, okay? So for example, number one, you bought a bank bond for $225,500, okay? The simple interest rate is 7.45%. And it can be redeemable after 3 years. How much interest will you collect at the end of the 3 years? Okay?
$50,399.25.
How did you do that?
Times the take the
Okay.
principal, the 500 times the
Which is?
percentage rate times 3
How?
years.
What was your percentage rate? Well, what is the actual number?
Point 0.075.
745. All right.
It took that and times it by 3
Yes,
years.
and you got a grand total of how much again?
399.25.
5 0 0
99
Three.
399 no 10
Mhm.
399.25. That's all that I grasped from reading it myself.
Perfect.
Other than that, I was confused.
Okay. No, that's correct. You got it completely correct, David. That is right.
Well, like I said, that's all I understood.
Okay. So here, this is your what? What did we just solve for?
The
Oh,
interest.
simple interest for
Yes,
Simple
this
interest.
is your total simple interest, right? All right. How do you find your future value? Oh my god, I lost my.
Take the interest and you add the
Okay.
principal.
So future value is going to be what is the principal?
The 50 399.
That's your interest.
Well, you gotta add that and the 225.
Yes, so
50.
yes, so
500.
2225 is your principal. So here we're understanding that 222,225,500 plus the 53,9925, and you're going to get a grand total of what?
Uh, 2,075, 89, 9, 25.
Yes. And that is it. Was that fun or not?
Oh, that's all I understood.
That's
This
it.
right
That's
here.
all you need to know.
Everything else you talked about was free.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that did come out right.
So wait, Andrea, you got it right, or what? Okay,
Yeah, I got the future.
perfect.
Right.
That's all. That's all. That's all it is. That's why simple interest is very simple. So how does this apply to real life? It's pretty straightforward.
Well,
If you go to have a savings, if you put the amount in, this is how you calculate it, right? If you buy a bond, right, you're only getting charged interest one time. Okay.
The part
So
that you,
this is
that,
one time.
One time interest, yes. Over a lump sum of money, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
it was easy until you started that other equation.
All right. So, but this is the simplest one, and that's why like I said, I'm only gonna test you on this one.
Well, that's the only one I understood.
Good. No, that's good. It's good. Hold on, let me double check this real quick. Okay, good. All right. So let's go ahead and keep practicing our simple interest. Why not, right? So, here is some things I'm going to throw at you. So let's go ahead and calculate this. So if I originally had my principal as $15,000 and my rate is 5.12%, and my time is going to be 5 years, what is my interest?
I got $384.
Well, let's wait for the other students.
Oh,
No worries.
Five. I've got 30. $3,840.
Did you get that? Now, David, I don't remember what you told me.
What did you get?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I got.
All right,
You got it?
perfect.
Okay, great.
And Lee, you got this too?
Yeah, I was just doing the math. I was just doing the math
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
Make sure it's right.
All right. And then how do you solve for future value?
You take the interest and the principal.
Okay.
And add them together,
And what do
right?
you get?
Interest on the principal.
18,840.
That is correct.
See, if they were all, everything was simple like this, I wouldn't have a problem.
Well, that's why it's like when we're looking at the problem, right? This is the simple one, so it's the easiest one, but then you got the complex one, which is the compound one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Also, the compound ones where you have that formula where you have to have the special
Yes.
calculator.
Yes, that is correct. All right. Let's go on and move on to equation number 2. So problem number 2 says you originally invested $4,521.50. Okay, and your interest rates, your simple interest rate is going to be 2.45%, and this time it's only going to be for 90 days.
Now,
Yes, go
question,
ahead.
You have years, days,
Okay,
months.
good.
Is
Yes,
any
it
of that
does matter. Yes,
Does
it
any of
does
that
matter. Good. So, how much is 90 days? How many days is 90 days?
90
Okay.
days?
In terms of years, how much is 90 days?
Not even a year.
Yeah, okay. In terms of years, though, it is 3 months. Good.
Oh, yeah.
So what is
Yeah.
3 months out of a year?
3 months.
What is 3
Uh-huh.
months out of a year? That leaves what? Oh,
3
seven,
months.
7 months?
No, it's a quarter.
It's a quarter of a year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Quarter.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking in quarters.
I keep
Yeah,
saying
you're right, it's a
it,
quarter.
I keep saying it, but then I realize.
Oh. I was like, Lee, where are you? You usually chime in at this time.
Take that
Yes,
off.
it is a quarter. It is a quarter of a year. So good. That's one thing that you need to recognize is I will be throwing out examples just like this. Okay. Okay, so it's true. You can get a bond or you can buy something similar to it and leave it there for only 90 days. Okay, so yes, you can have a 90-day contract, a 90-day bank bond, a 90-day service. You can have it available. It's not always going to be friendly and be measured in years. So it's good that you caught that. It's good that you caught that because some people, they would have just like went right ahead.
CD account.
What did you say?
Oh,
Like a
at first I
CD
did.
that can mature in
Yes,
6 months.
yes. Mhm.
Same thing.
Yeah, well, the
Okay.
first time I went to this, I did like you said, just go ahead and do it, and then I was sitting back thinking, I'm like, well, that's gonna be one of the questions I ask about, when when you're asking these questions and totaling them up, it's the 5 years, 90 days, 6 months, is the question.
All right. So let's go ahead and calculate this. And what do you get?
Yeah, I think I have to keep myself muted because I hear better. I was trying to see if it made any difference, but when I mute myself, I can hear everybody.
Better?
But when I unmute,
Do you still
you
hear
all
talking?
cut.
It's up to you, Lee. If you,
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's just I gotta keep it on mute to hear
Okay.
you. Otherwise, you cut out too much, and then I don't know what you said. So, I'm not being unsocial.
No worries.
I just gotta feel here.
That's
Okay? So
fine.
I'm
You
muted.
can shout out the answer, and if the answer does come out, then you can validate that you got it right.
Okay.
I just have to ask one quick question
Yes.
before we go forward. I had gotten in that, second, problem, where we got the interest of the 3,840. I didn't get how you got the 18,840.
Which one?
All I did is take the interest and plus principal.
Wait, you took what the,
Interest was that you got.
okay, the 5.12%.
No. Okay.
No,
Not the rate. Look the columns here. Okay.
Right, yeah.
What is? I'm gonna ask you this, Andrea. What is the formula to solve for future value?
The future value is to take the, oh my goodness, the principal
Not times.
times. Because I got the thing, how did I do that? I'm trying to figure out how did I reach this, okay, 15,000 times,
not times.
What is the formula to solve for future value? I can give.
the principal rate.
No. Now you're solving for interest. I'm asking you, how do you solve for future value? I guess I will give you a hint when I find the formula. Simple interest here. What is the formula to solve for future value?
The principal,
Not times.
rate.
No, not divide. Look at my screen. What do you see?
Okay. Future value is principal plus the
Yes.
interest.
Yes.
Ah, okay, okay. Principal plus the interest. Plus the interest of the, oh, right, okay, so that's the 3840. It doesn't come to, I don't come to 18,000.
Okay. Andrea, what is the interest? How much interest did you calculate?
Right, the, 3,840.
What is the principal?
The principal is
So what is
15,000.
15,000 plus 3,840?
Oh, my goodness. I kept multiplying it, that's why I wasn't getting the
Okay.
1840. Oh, okay, thank you,
Yeah,
I
of course.
appreciate that.
So again, this is the easiest formula to remember. I think one of my students says for simple, it's pretty. Okay, so it's PRT equals I. Pretty.
Okay, that's one way.
And
to put
then
it.
to solve for future value, it's it's pretty simple. Like think about it in general. Like if you calculate the interest, what was your original investment in the first place? You're gonna have exactly. So if you invested $15,000 and you came out to be your interest is $3,000, what happened to your $15,000? You would need to add it together so you can find out how much it is in the future. Okay, so think of it that way.
Principal plus your
Okay.
interest, right. It's the
Yes.
future value.
All right,
Exactly.
so let's go ahead and do the second problem here. So what is so if I have my principal as $4,521.50, my interest rate is 2.45%, and I have 90 days.
$9,969.
No, that is not right.
Okay, so we have to multiply the principal by
Mhm.
the rate times 2.5, one
Mhm.
quarter,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so I've got $27.69 for I'll do that again just to make sure. 4521.5 times 2.45% equals $110.78 times 90 days is a quarter of a year. So a quarter is 0.25. I get $27.69.
Okay.
Okay, I did it
Okay.
twice.
David, are you following along? Do you know where she got the 27.69?
Yes and no.
Okay. Again, look at time. Time is given in 90 days. We don't want 90 days. We want it to be in years. So what is 90 days?
Quarter.
Okay, it's a quarter of a year, correct? So now instead of multiplying it by 90, you're going to multiply it by 0.25. Because you're not calculating for the whole year. You're not collecting interest for the whole year. You're only collecting interest for those 3 months.
Oh, I just got it too.
Okay?
Okay. Uh,
So every time you see something other than year, you need to convert it into years. Okay?
okay.
All right. So, yes, the correct answer is $27.69. Okay? So you're going to take the principal, you're going to multiply it by the rate, and you're going to multiply it by a quarter of a year. A quarter of the year is equal to 30 days, which is equal to 90 days, which is equivalent to 3 months. Okay? So understand that you're not collecting all 2.45% because this is an annual rate. As in 1 year, you're going to accumulate 2.45%. We need to multiply it in a way that we're going to make sure that every month that we're collecting it, or every day that we're collecting it, that we're multiplying it by whatever years it is. So in our case, because it's 90 days, you need to convert that to years. So that means we're only collecting 25% of the interest. Okay? So yes, it's $27.69. And what is the future value?
Projected $27.69 plus $4,025 or $21.50.
Yes,
Right?
so 27.69.
40, 45, 49, 19.
Yep, that's what I got.
Okay, 45.49. 45.49. 19 is correct.
19.
Okay.
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 So
Pretty straightforward. Now, let's go ahead and do example number 3. So if I originally invested,
question.
yes?
I don't know. Somebody sneezed.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so principal is we're gonna originally invest $384,000 and 125.22. Okay, our simple interest rate is going to be 7.89%, and it's going to be for 6 months.
Got $15,100.74.
Sorry, you cut off 15.
15,153. No, 15153. 74.
Okay, now let's wait for the other students. Did everyone get that too? 3.
Uh, $15, 153.74.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Okay,
got it.
so good. So we see 6 months here. So we know 6 months out of a whole year. We already know that's half a year. So we need to multiply it by 0.5, or you could actually multiply it 1 and divide the whole thing by 2. Okay,
Yeah, I can know exactly with the 15.
perfect.
Yeah, I know the 15,153.74.
Okay, so 15, 74. Okay, so now how do you solve for the future value?
Add the interest and
Yes.
the principal together.
And what do we get?
399,238.
399,278.9. What do you say? 9596? What? I got 96.
Oh, I got 9. Yeah, me too, 9.6.
Okay.
Did you round your interest, because I know it was 7,395.
I don't
Okay.
remember.
That's probably where
So
it was.
yeah, if you want to also calculate it, you can do 2 plus 4. It has to, your ending number has to be 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. See, simple interest is very, very easy.
Don't talk like
All
that.
right.
It's getting easier, I'll put it like that.
All right.
But not now. You broke. You said you had to break it down.
Yeah.
I understand it better.
Yeah, once you break it down and
Once you
realize what
break
you're
down the
supposed to do,
years.
multiplying and adding, then it's easier.
Okay, so
Well, we need to put that in bold print on the PowerPoint.
Right.
whatever you want to do to help you understand it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go ahead and solve for question number 3. Okay, you were approved for a bank loan. Okay, for $5,500. Ooh. All right, interest rate is 6.25% and is compounded monthly. So that means how many times? Okay, monthly. So how many times is every month?
That's right.
Okay, not 4. This is monthly.
Hey,
12. Yes. How many months are in a year? 12. All right. How much interest will be collected if you decided to pay it off in 5 years? All right. So here I'm gonna go ahead and go into my handy dandy Excel sheet here. I'm gonna go ahead and label it here at the top. So this will be my principal. This will be my rate. This will be my number. I'm just gonna put number. And then this will be time. And I need to solve for future value. And I need to solve for interest. Okay, so this one, if you have Excel, you may go ahead and follow along. But if you don't, that is fine. This is going to be difficult to calculate on your own calculator. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about how much the principal was. So how much was the bank loan for?
Principal's
5,500. And what was the interest rate on that?
Oh, yeah.
6.25%.
Six. Okay, 0.62. Oh my gosh, I can't type 6. 6.25%. Good. How much is the interest compounded? 12. And for how many years? 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over into this little formula here. I'm going to make it a little bigger so everyone can see it a little grander. Okay, so make sure that you're careful of what numbers that you choose. I'm going to also make it, let me see if I can. All right, good. So I'm able to see. Okay, good. So focus here on my future values. So my formula will be equal. Okay, you're going to do your principal. Now you can type in the numbers if you like. I'm going to type it in so then you guys can see before I do self-reference, okay? So my principal is what?
The 5,000.
Okay.
5,500.
We're going to multiply parentheses.
That's
We
right.
need to add
Be the,
okay. We're going to add our rate, which is, what is our rate? Rate.
No, 0.06.
Yes. Oopsies. I'm supposed to type it in.
0.06.
Yes. 0.0625. Okay. and we're going to divide that by the number, which is what? 12,
12.
okay?
12.
And then I'm going to double parentheses, okay? Remember, you need to close out all the parentheses. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my caret, so that's shift 6. Okay? And then
Oh, that's what you mean by
yes,
carrot.
and then you're going to open another parentheses. All right? And then you're going to find out what the number is. So what is the number? 12 multiply by time. And time is what? 5 years.
5.
We're going to close that parentheses. And when we click enter, oh, okay, so I messed up somewhere. All right, let's do this again. Okay, so again, 5 like that times 1 plus parentheses 0.0625 divide by 12, close parentheses, up 1, open parentheses, 12 times 5, and then you're going to close your parentheses here. Enter. So I got a total of this number right here, 7,511 and 51 cents. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tap this and make sure I format it in a way that I only see two decimal places. So here, my future value is going to be $7,511.51. Okay? You see how that worked?
Okay.
Complicated, right?
I had no idea.
So
Okay.
it is the same thing if you were to go ahead and do it this way. If it's easier to just point and click, then that's what you want to do. But in this case, I wanted to show you how the numbers fit into that formula. So if I wanted to do the cell reference, I'm going to go equal. I'm going to click this cell reference, which was my principal. I'm going to multiply that by parentheses 1 plus open parentheses, my rate, okay, divide by my number, and then I'm going to close my parentheses, close it again, caret, open one, and then I'm going to do again 12 again, multiply by the 5, and then I'm going to close that parentheses, and then boom, I get the same exact number. Okay? So that's the quick and easy way to do it if you are solving for this actual equation. Okay? So again, we're gonna practice that more down below. So how do I solve for my interest? What is my interest?
The
Future value,
What's
not
the
plus.
No, you have to
You
subtract.
have to subtract.
The future value,
Yes.
the principal minus interest equals,
Yes, 2011 and 51 cents is the correct answer. Okay.
I keep thinking the other you have to add, but
Yes,
that's the
and
other
yes,
one.
that's the other one. This time we need to subtract the original investment because how can we determine what 7,511 is? Is all of that money really ours? Yes, but what did we first start off with? We need to make sure that we calculate how much we started off with, and then that way you can tell, well, this is how much I've accrued interest over the time. Okay, so in this case, you accrued $2,000 worth of interest in 5 years. That is a lot to pay off, and yes. And if you guys know that, I forgot what that's called, but the rule of 22 or something like that. If you take in finance or know something about finance, the rule of 22 is every year your if you don't pay off your credit card, it will increase it by 22 times, or yes, in this case, it increased by 2.2 times, yes. Okay, because we went from
Okay.
7,000, we went from 5,000 to 7,000, so that's a lot of money. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's how you do that. Okay. All right. So again, let's go ahead and look at our example again. And here I have a set table of information here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this information, and I'm going to transfer it over into my, and transfer it all into here. Okay, so here I have my 15,000 with the same numbers, okay? Let's make this bubble a little smaller. Okay, so now that we have this, what are we going to do? Okay. I think I'm going to shrink this. It's way too big. Okay, so there you go. And then I'm going to expand this table. So then, okay, I guess that's not working. Okay, there you go. So let's go ahead and solve for the future value for each one. So can somebody walk me through what the formula is? What are we going to be doing?
You're going to take the 15
Yes.
times the 5.2.
Okay. Okay, no. What are we going to be doing?
Okay. 15.
Oopsies. I know I want it to be shrunken into regular numbers. So I want this to be 0.5, oopsie, 0.0512. Okay, okay, it's not letting me. I need to change the format of this. So I'm going to go ahead and change this into regular numbers. So let me go ahead and do that real quick.
Did you write off 3?
Hold on. Okay, so here, now I converted all my decimal points, okay? Let's go ahead and review this. So if, for example number 1, I originally invested, my principal is going to be $15,000, okay? And then here I have, oh my God, all my decimals changed. Okay, so I have 5.12%. This time it's going to compound 4 times a year. So every quarterly it's going to compound, right? And I have 5 years, 90 days, and I have 6 months, okay? So in this case, what am I going to be entering into my formula? So again, we started off with $15,000. We're going to multiply. How do I continue?
Times 5.4.
We're dealing with compound interest this time, so it's a different formula.
Oh, okay.
1.
1.
Not times.
Parentheses.
Not times. We're going to add. Yes.
We're going to add. Then we go to do parentheses again.
What's my rate?
And then the 0.056, 0.0512 divided by
Yes.
4.
Parentheses.
Double parentheses. Caret
Mm-hmm.
parentheses,
Good. Uh-huh.
4 times
Yes, good.
close parentheses.
And we're going to get a total of $19,344.84.
You know, I was waiting for you to say, I was correct on each one because I was doing that by
Good.
memory.
Good. 19,344.84 minus 15,000. So my interest is going to be for 43.44 and 84 cents. Okay. So right now it's 2:45. Let's just finish up these two problems and then we'll go ahead and take a break. Okay? Let's finish up and power through. Come on, guys. We're almost there. Then you can take a quick break. All right? So, what is the next problem? What's my principal?
Okay, your principal is $4,521.50.
Okay.
You want to
Mm-hmm.
1 plus
Mm-hmm.
parentheses 0.0245 divided by 2. Double parentheses.
Uh-huh.
You do the caret,
Uh-huh.
parentheses, 2 times 90.
Okay, now careful. This is 90 days.
Okay.
So what is 90 days in terms of years?
3 months.
3 months. And what is 3 months in terms of years? And David, you are right. It is a quarter.
Quarter.
So times
Okay.
0.25.
25.
Okay. I get $4,549. And if I take this 4,549.11 minus my 4,5, what was it? 21.50. I'm going to get a grand total of $27.61. So, wow. That really didn't make a difference. Okay?
It did.
So let's go ahead and do the last one, and then we'll take a quick break. So what's my
3,000.
384
125.
125
125.
.22,
Plus.
not plus, multiply. Uh-huh.
Times.
Parentheses, 1
1
plus.
plus
Mm-hmm.
parentheses 0.002 0.07989 divided by
Mm-hmm. 3.
3 plus double parentheses caret parentheses 3 times
0.5. Good job. Okay.
Now, we put all these equations on when we're finishing it.
Say that again.
Will you put all these equations on the answers as you're doing it,
What do you mean?
or is it doing it? Is it thinking all the equations? Because
Yeah,
I still
You mean the
don't know what
formula?
you're asking me.
Yeah.
formula you're talking about, yeah.
all this, is it going to tell us that, or we have to do something special?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what you want to know what the formula is? You've been telling me the whole time.
Well, I know, but as I'm telling you it's like okay.
No, you did it right. You did everything right. I followed everything you told me, and it's correct.
Well, we may not
Yes,
remember.
no worries about that.
That's what I'm
And
thinking. This is an Excel
the
sheet that you're gonna post,
yeah, of course. Do you want me? You want me
so
to?
that we can actually go into the cell then and actually see the,
Yes, you
the
can,
formula that
and
you
I
have
can
in
also
Excel.
set
Okay.
the example file on there as
Good.
well with the Excel sheet. Now the only thing is
Good.
I like I said can't guarantee that tonight just because I have other things I need to do. So as far as that,
Yeah,
it will
that's
be
fine,
posted
just
this
as long as
weekend.
it's
Okay.
there. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
just I can remember what I told
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you
You
did good,
did
buddy.
very, very
Good
good.
job,
I am very
baby.
happy of you, even though, like, yes.
Wow, it's very
So,